Hello, Facebook. Thank you guys for joining us, whether you're joining us for our live class or for the replay later on or on YouTube. We're really happy to have you. I'm saying we because Kristen and I, my friend, have hosted the rest of these classes as a part of this series, and she is taking the night off tonight, so you are stuck with just me. So we're going to jump into this together. I'll give everybody a minute to jump on here. If you are new to a Facebook Live class, these are always really fun. There's plenty of room to make comments or ask questions during the class. Some of them we may wait to answer until after the class. Some of them we might have some time for at the end for a little Q&A. So if you have any questions during the class, feel free to leave those comments at the bottom, and I'll try to address those whichever way works best. So I'm really excited to share with you guys tonight. The rest of our classes have covered chemical-free cleaning. So this is the third of a series of 3 classes, and we really have covered everything from cleaning your toilet to tonight we're going to focus more on the body, which I'm really excited about. It's one of my favorite places to really get chemicals out, and a place that really I've had more experience in, because I think that's where I started more when I started my journey of getting into ditching and switching, as we like to call it, getting the chemicals out and replacing it with healthier products. So it's a place that I really enjoy talking about, and I'm excited to share some fun recipes with you guys tonight. And we're going to share 3 recipes total that I'll post here in the comments for you to see as well. And then I'll share some great ways that I've learned to do this for myself. So let's go ahead and dive in. If you are here in the class, or even if you're watching this later, I'd love to hear what brought you to this class, what inspired you to watch this, maybe some ways that you're already getting rid of chemicals and replacing them in your home, or maybe just some products that you love in your home, but you know that they're not 100% safe and that you'd like to find an alternative for. That's something that we'd be happy to share with you guys too. So thank you guys. So I want to start with something that we use every day, and something that we do more often than anything else as far as cleaning, and that should be our hands. So obviously we hope that everyone is washing their hands diligently, especially this time of year when the seasons are changing and there's so much potential for the exchange of not so friendly germs. Hand washing is a really important thing. So we're gonna keep it super basic tonight. We're gonna use some recipes and some tools that you will get a ton of use out of. So a hand wash is something that I replaced in my home really early, knowing that there were so many chemicals and things in it. And also I have fairly sensitive skin on my hands, and so if I washed my hands too frequently, my hands would break out. But I wanted to be able to wash my hands as much as I wanted to, especially having little kids and so many germs and just dirt flying around. I wanted it to be safe and also effective. So that's something that I replaced fairly early on. But I saw it fairly effective in the beginning, but it wasn't really doing all that I wanted it to do until I kind of got into learning the different essential oils you can add to it and how that can really make it more effective. So I'm going to share this recipe with you guys really fast that, oh, also before I get into that, you probably heard recently that the FDA recently banned antibacterial hand soap. And that to me is just a red flag to say we need to be our own health advocates. If antibacterial hand soap has been on the market for that long and they're just now getting around to banning it, then we really need to know our stuff. And even if we don't know whether or not these chemicals are safe, I'd rather have a guarantee of something that I know is safe in my home and not have to wonder. So the FDA released this list of 19 chemicals that are in antibacterial hand soaps that companies have to start phasing out, and they have to be completely gone within the next year. So that to me just says, let's do this, guys. Like, let's get rid of it. If something has been on the market that long and they're just now saying it's unsafe for us and not necessary, then what's next? I think that is just a big telltale sign of what's to come. And when we really think about long-term health, it's important to start using products in our home that we can be 100% confident in, and not just something that's a quick fix or seems like it's safe, but we're not 100% sure. So let's talk about a super simple way to do that. So I like a foaming hand soap, especially having little kids. They have a hard time getting regular soap to lather the whole water thing. Like they've washed all the soap off before they've even cleaned it all. And so I really like a foaming hand soap, and it's nice for me as well. So one of the best tools that I've found for foaming hand soap is a good foaming hand soap dispenser. So you can totally use a empty bottle of hand soap that you have lying around. If you've used an antibacterial hand soap maybe, and you still have that one lying around, that's totally fine if you want to use that. These are a little nicer and last a little longer because I've totally refilled old bottles before, but after a while they kind of start getting a little funky, and these just last longer. So this one I got off of Amazon. They also carry it at my H-E-B. So if you're in Texas, I know H-E-B has them. Other than that, I don't know about your grocery store, but my grocery store has it. So I think it was around 10 bucks. Really easy to find. It's not glass, it's plastic, but it's a heavier plastic. Like it's not flexible like some of the disposable bottles. So looks really nice. This is plastic too, but it looks nice too. And so this is where you start. And then from there, I'll read these recipes out loud to you because they're super basic. So I don't think it'll be overwhelming for them to read them, but I'll also post them in the comments and you'll be able to access them that way as well. I thought about demonstrating how to make these recipes, but then I thought, you know what, these people are smart enough to pour some things in a bottle and shake it up, because really that's all these recipes are. So I feel like it would almost be an insult to your intelligence if I made these in front of you as a way to show you how to do it, because really you're just dumping it in. That's all you have to do. So here's where we start. We start with 1/3 a cup of Castile soap. As far as Castile soap, Dr. Bronner's is the way to go. They're just a really great company. They've been around for a really long time. I think since like the 1940s, if I remember correctly. And on top of that, if you see all this print, their bottles are also really fun to read. So if you have some really random free time, you can go and read their whole bottle. Like this is not necessarily product information. This is like a little mini novel that they like to put on all of their bottles. That's kind of fun too. They have quotes on here from everyone from, who was it? George Eliot, Ralph Waldo Emerson, I think this one, Franklin D. Roosevelt, and Buddha. So it's really runs the gamut. So that's pretty fun. So 1/3 a cup of Dr. Bronner's Castile soap, or whichever brand you prefer. This is just my preference. And then 1/8 of a teaspoon of essential oils. That's about 15 to 20 drops. Sometimes it's just easier to measure it in a little spoon. And then 2/3 cup of filtered or distilled water. And you pour that all in your little soaping container. Be careful when you're pouring in the water not to pour too aggressively, if that makes sense, because the Castile soap will suds up a bit. So I just pour in the water really gently, like let it hit the side first and run down, and then shake it up. If you want a little extra moisture, if you have extra dry hands, especially in the wintertime, I add 1 to 2 tablespoons of vegetable glycerin. And it just adds a little moisture, protects your hands a little bit more from the cold weather. I especially do this in the winter, and then sometimes in the summer it's either or. Sometimes I do it, sometimes I don't. So it's really up to you and your skin's needs, and that's one of the best things about making your own stuff, is you can customize it to whatever your body needs. So as far as the essential oils, lavender is really great, especially if you have